Hello. Welcome to the Dancing Oracle with Najia. I'm a psychic medium and I normally read a lot of cards for everybody, but I'm talking about timeline shifts today. I want to thank everyone who's donated to the channel, who's become a member, who's joined as members. I'm going to do my VIP Oracle members tonight. We're going to talk about all the kind of things we wanted to in the chat, of course. But I will let everyone see that after, as long as it's not private. And please be sure to subscribe for free and hit the like button. It helps the channel get the information out there. So today I am following up with comments from the viewers, some really interesting comments about timeline shifts because I introduced my experience in the second video on the Mandala Effect. So you want to check out those videos. And if you're not familiar with the Mandala Effect and timeline shifts, basically, if you haven't had a chance to Google it or ever heard of it, people experience completely different memories of world events and things that have happened, including where this name came from, Mandala, because some people have a memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison a long time ago, decades ago, in the 80s maybe. And in reality, in our reality, in our timeline, he was released from prison and he also became the president of South Africa in 1990. There's so many memories, there's so many examples. It starts to beckon this question of timeline shift, and then found out from one of the viewers in the last video about this, about what's going on with CERN and how it's affecting the magnetism, the magnetic shifts, and they can control time. It's they usually like to control the weather or, do a lot of scientific research, but they're working with large hadron colliders. And then there's also, I talk about what Jimmy from Tarot Ship said about the 3 different government speeches he saw from different government officials, all talking about the power that they have, this advanced technology that is not public yet. And there were like little slippages of what, so one of them was Department of Defense for 30 years talking about, controlling the timeline shift and all these different things that they could do. So I'll put all that in another video after I thoroughly research everything, and I'll get all their names out to you for you to investigate yourself. But in the meantime, viewer comments, all right? So, MK, I think this is Katie. She it's MK8TO, but I believe her name is Katie, also known as Mary. And she's talking about my issue that happened with the earring, the timeline shift, how the earring magically appeared on my ear. I don't drink or do drugs, right? So she goes, wow, that is a trippy experience. I felt like I jumped timelines or something weird just this past week. When we had an earthquake nearby, you know about the earthquake in California this past week. I'm recording this on Easter right now, 420. And Mary was struggling with vertigo that whole morning, but I didn't feel the earthquake at all. I only knew about it because an alert went out over everyone's phones, and it was if I was jolted back into my body or that version of reality, okay? I could hear a bunch of my neighbors outside, and my next door neighbor said it shook for a long time, and they definitely felt it. I checked local online groups, and it was felt all over a huge area, with people saying it was the longest and the loudest in quite a while. Yet myself and my dogs never felt or heard a thing. I just hope that was the only earthquake we're going to have, and I bypassed it entirely. B2I. By the way, just had my reading with Najia earlier today, and I can highly recommend her. Thank you, Katie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much about that comment because yeah, I mean if a big earthquake like that happens, they're saying it's the biggest in a long time. How did you not feel it? You know, that's kind of and your dog would be barking up a storm, right? Uh, so also this is something we all should look into. She says hello. This is Maria. Sorry, I'm having a little trouble with my phone. Maria Jose Costa Salons, right? She says, hello. Every time I listen to you, I appreciate you more. On the timelines, I see Lorena Martin. She seems very interesting to me. Yeah, and someday she would like to speak with me. Yeah, so look up Lorena Martin. And Josephine. Josephine's one of our regular viewers, and she's written in a lot. Josephine, hi! Josephine's making really good use of my channel, particularly my Divine Design playlist. She's growing. I have all this free information, things I would teach on my goddess and mermaid retreats. There were holistic retreats for women. I mean, not that men couldn't come, but I didn't have the facilities for men to sleep together with the ladies. So it was just goddess and mermaids at the time, unless, but we did all this cool stuff. I teach a lot of it. I talk a lot about it. Stuff I've done over the last decade in my Divine Design and Intuition playlist. I'm here for you, people. I want to help you grow spiritually in the metaphysical world. So Josephine Moyer says, talking about this topic, the Mandala effect, timelines, and sure, and your experience with your earring. I for sure one day out in my parents' garage, right? That was my dad's. She saw her dad's right side car mirror was broken, as it looked that way. And the next time she looked, it wasn't broken at all. Another thing that Josephine experienced recently was about them having fires in California. She came across some videos of people filming and recording that there were no fires. And the specific thing they said when they were talking about that, was they weren't living in the 3D and it wasn't part of their reality. So that is the same way all this negative stuff we see in the news or hear, we can, with our energy and minds, change the reality in front of us and around us and prevent any future negative events from happening as well. Although I'm not that far advanced in that, I do think it's possible. I find the Mandala effect interesting. Thanks for sharing your experience with us. So also, Josephine wrote in again. All right. Josephine says, I was thinking of something else there is, and I also saw online something about those old timeline. Remember the heart being. This is something. I got to look this up because I grew up. Okay, let me read what she said. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this stuff. I feel like a little kid. And I'm happy that you're excited and writing in about it with your experiences. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Remember the heart being on the left side of the body? And then the new timeline, the heart's in the center. Is that true, people? Are kids being taught in school now that the heart is in the center? I have a friend who's a doctor. I forgot to ask her yesterday. We were out on a hike. Josephine says, I even remember it as always being on the left myself. Okay, I do too. We were taught the heart's on the left side. Okay. And the Ed McMahon thing, right? The Ed McMahon, yeah, I vaguely remember that. And you search here on YouTube, he definitely mentions delivering checks. Yeah, the Publishers Clearinghouse checks, which they say he never did. They say it was American Publishing. But no, I grew up, Publishers Clearinghouse, Ed McMahon. And maybe they just changed the timeline on the internet. Who knows, right? And Josephine says, I am not sure about the Monopoly one. Yeah, I remember the Monopoly man, the banker, having a monocle. If you go on the Monopoly website or anywhere, they'd say he never had a monocle in this timeline. I don't know what to think. We have an older one, but then again, how far back are we talking about? Josephine, by the way, when you take out your old Monopoly game, does the banker on the box of that have a does he have a monocle? Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that and spark some discussion in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you, and tell me what you think. I've had so many comments about that in the last two videos, the first two videos I produced. So you can read all the comments. You can add to the comments. You can add to the comments here. You can add to the comments in the previous videos. Let me know if you've experienced the Mandala effect. Go down that list. You don't have to go down my list. You can go on the internet even. Look up Mandala effect. There's all kinds of things, you know, the GIF versus Jiffy, the fruit of the loom, cornucopia on the underwear, no cornucopia, so many things. Mr. Peanut, you know, with a cane and top hat and a monocle, and supposedly he doesn't have that. I don't know. The tail or no tail on Curious George the monkey, all kinds of stuff. The Forrest Gump one, that was a big one. Why didn't I read those? I can't find them. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you'll get. Yeah, I remember him saying that sitting on a bench, recounting what his mom would say. And if you look it up, they say in this timeline that we're experiencing, that we're all living in right now, that he never said that. Yeah, I remember it. I remember it well. I saw that movie at least 4 times. It was on cable TV, so I got to see it repeatedly. It's a great movie. Let me know what you think. I'll do more about this. I want to have a discussion. Right now, I'm only doing discussions with my VIP Oracle members because I'm very limited on time, but eventually I will open it up to all my members, okay, of all levels. But right now, I'm just limiting it, and everyone can watch it. Everyone can watch it. I will eventually make all those videos public. Thank you for joining me. Many blessings to you. Take care. Have a beautiful week.